This is a beautiful lipstick. Does it have mold on the side? What is that? Because it's got a lot of cat hairs in it. 2018 brows. Who is that? Hello! Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. That was super sweet of you. Who even am I in this outfit, you guys? This is my shirt that I bought for my Lorelai costume. If you missed it, I was Lorelai for Halloween, Lorelai Gilmore from Gilmore Girls, and my boyfriend was Luke. It was such a cute costume. We looked so cute, and I got this shirt on eBay of all places because I was basing my costume off of this look, just because to me, this is like the look I picture when I think of Lorelai. Like I pictured this little blue, little sleeveless turtleneck, you know? I think she wears this in like very early episodes in season 1, but I love this outfit and I'm trying to wear it more post-costume. I haven't worn it at all. I'm a little self-conscious. I feel like my armpits are gonna spill out because I don't think armpits can spill out. I think it's a cute outfit. I'm feeling confident in it. Feeling like I wanna head on over to Luke's and eat a bunch of pancakes and just enjoy Stars Hollow and just live my Connecticut fantasy. But that's not what this video is about. You did not click on this video to find out how cute I feel in my little Lorelai shirt here today. No, you clicked on this video because you, like me, have an interest in reacting to my 2020 makeup favorites. Last year on my channel, I did 2 different videos, one reacting to my 2018 makeup favorites and one reacting to my 2019 makeup favorites, because if you didn't know, I've had a dang old YouTube channel since October of 2018. I only started posting like really consistently last year, but I had so much fun looking back on those old favorites videos, doing a little reflection, talking about the makeup that might not be a favorite anymore. And I'm super excited to react to my 2020 makeup favorites because I think there's gonna be quite a few repeats in here. I have a feeling that I'm still gonna like a lot of these products, and at the same time, I know that I've decluttered quite a bit of these. So it should be a good time, you know? Hopefully we'll learn some lessons and get to do a little reflecting together. So if that sounds like a topic that is interesting to you and you want to see me react to my 2020 makeup favorites, then I encourage you to please subscribe and keep on watching because it's coming at you right now. I will have a 2021 makeup favorites video coming soon, by the way. I'm gonna save that for a little further into December so I can test things a little bit longer, but let's get right into reacting to my 2020 makeup favorites. So I took a screenshot of the description box from that video and it looks like I separated things by categories. So let's start with the face category. For my favorite face primer of 2020, I said that it was the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. And I actually don't have that product anymore to show you, but I do have the empty container. I, for some reason, have saved this container and I keep telling myself that I'm gonna reuse it. Somebody gave me a good suggestion, which is that I should clean it out first. Ew, that's gross. I should have cleaned that out. I should clean it out and melt some of my lipsticks in here to make my own cream blush, which freaking brilliant. Love that idea. So that's why I still have the container. I still love the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't currently have it in my collection and I'm not like desperate to go repurchase it again, just because I kind of like the priming routine I'm in right now. I've been using my Auric Glow Lust as my primer. I feel like this is nice and smoothing too, but I did love how smoothing the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer was. I ended up trying the luminous version of the putty primer after I finished up my Poreless Putty Primer. How many times can I say putty primer? But after I finished the original Poreless, I tried the luminous. I have to say, I think the Poreless is the best of those 2 options. So I would repurchase it in the future. I don't think it's gonna be a favorite this year because I did use it this year, but I didn't feel the need to immediately go out and repurchase. So yeah, that's my thoughts on my favorite primer from 2020. All right, and for my favorite foundation of 2020, I said it was the Milk Flex Foundation Stick. And would you even believe it? I still have it. I totally finished it. As you can see, I've been scooping it out from the center. My thoughts are a little mixed on this. It's not gonna be my favorite foundation this year. Tell you that much for sure. That's a spoiler alert for my 2021 favorites. But I don't dislike it. I think the reason this became my favorite foundation was because it was one of the first really emollient foundation sticks I used before trying the Milk foundation stick. All of the other foundation sticks I tried were super dry, just drew attention to texture on my skin. So this was the first foundation stick that didn't do that, and I still really love it for that. The reason it's not gonna be my favorite this year is because I found other foundations that are equally as hydrating, but are more transfer proof. Whereas with this guy, he doesn't really fully dry down ever, which can be fine in the winter time when my skin is super dry and it's just like absorbing it all up. But in the summertime, I did find that this guy was a little slip slidey all over the face. So that's why it's not going to be an overall 2021 makeup favorite. But I will say, if you have dry skin in the wintertime and still want to get some coverage, the Milk Flex Stick Foundation is really good for that. And I loved the shade match in this. I'm in the shade Fair, which is like literally my skin tone in a stick. So love that about it, but definitely no longer my top favorite foundation. All right, and my 2020 favorite concealer was the NYX Conceal Correct Contour Palette. I still love this guy, clearly. It's very well loved. It's nearly completely finished. I did find concealers I like better throughout the year, but I still really love this concealer palette. I think if I were to buy a new one, I would reach for it more because it's got a lot of cat hairs in it. I included this in my project pan at the beginning of the year. I made such a big effort to finish this guy and I got so close and I really tried to stick it out at the end. But like I said, I've just found concealers that I find to be a little bit quicker and easier. But I do still really like this palette, and I do think this palette is the best for spot concealing. Like if you need to spot conceal and you got a pimple that maybe you popped, maybe it's a little crusty, maybe it's a little gross, maybe it looks a little gross with liquid concealer on it, try a cream concealer. Try this NYX concealer specifically. Works really well for spot concealing, and I do like the good variety of shades you get in here. You can't see them anymore, but there was a brightener yellow shade and a little peachy under eye corrector shade, which introduced me to peachy under eye correctors. It was the first one I ever used, and for that, I'm forever grateful, but this is definitely no longer my favorite concealer. All right, we're gonna talk about my favorite blush and bronzer of 2020 together because they were both Milani baked products. So for blush, I said the favorite was my Milani baked blush, specifically in the shade Coralina, which is still an absolutely gorgeous blush. I mean, you can see this color. So pretty. I still really do like this blush. I will say I reached for it a lot less this year because I found that although I've said in the past that even though it has a little glitter in it, you don't quite see it on the face, you do see it on the face a little bit. It's not terrible. It's not so much that I'll never wear this again, but if I'm trying to go for a really sleek, smooth looking complexion, this is not the first one I reach for because you will occasionally get a little glitter chunk in it. That's not the same for all Milani baked blushes. I don't get that at all with the shade Luminoso. It's just Coralina does have a little bit more glitter in it, so for that reason I would say it's no longer my favorite blush. Definitely one of my favorite shades. Definitely still love a good shade like this, and I think that's why it ended up being the favorite last year, because it was one of the first coral blushes I tried, but definitely not my favorite blush of 2021. And then like I said, I picked the baked bronzer from Milani as my favorite bronzer in the shade Glow. Still really love this bronzer. Still used it a lot this year. I reached for it less just because the packaging is a little bulky. As you can see, a lot of Milani stuff can be a little bulky, so it did kind of get stuck in the back of my drawer for a while, but I do still really love this bronzer. It's a perfect shade for me. It's not too orange. It really is just like a perfect sun-kissed glow. So this is definitely still a bronzer that I really like, and I don't know, you'll have to stay tuned to find out if it's a 2021 favorite. Okay, now we're finally getting to some products that I'm like, what were you thinking saying that was a favorite? And we're talking about my 2020 favorite highlighter, which I said was this Pixi Glowy Gossamer Highlighter Duo in the shade Delicate Dew. For whom, ma'am? For whom is this your favorite highlighter? Because this was too dark for me. I tried to make this highlighter work for so long because I will say the Pixi highlighter formula, all of the chefs are kissing. Freaking beautiful formula. Super smooth, reflective, beaming from outer space. Too dark for me. It showed up as like a stripe. I really used to try to blend it in with my blush and bronzer to make it work for me. I think a good piece of advice from me to you, if you're not sure if a highlighter is too deep for you, if you even have to think about it, it probably is. I just feel like that's been my experience. And that's hard to accept, especially when you find a formula that you really love, and especially since I got this at TJ Maxx for like $6. It was such a good deal. I'm just gonna have to keep looking for that perfect highlighter. I know a lot of you have told me too that they do have other shades, but I don't know, I just feel like they all look like they're gonna be a little deep on me. Maybe I need to take a look in person, but yeah, this Pixie highlighter duo is definitely no longer my favorite highlighter in 2021. All right, and for my favorite setting spray of 2020, I said it was the Fourth Ray Beauty Glisten Up Mist. I haven't repurchased it since I ran out of this one, but I do still recall liking it a lot. I believe in my 2020 video, I said that setting sprays for me were something I thought of as just a way to add more glow, to add more dewiness to my face, and while I still love a setting spray to give me more dewiness to my face, I also like it to do a little more for me now. I want it to really melt all of my makeup together, not just in an add dewiness way, but in like a smoothing way, in a help my makeup last longer way, and I've just found setting sprays that do more for me and cost less money, because this Fourth Ray Beauty one is like $12 and you don't get a ton of product in there, and I don't want to spoil my favorite setting spray. It's literally in the background, don't look at it. I don't want to spoil my favorite setting spray because I want you to come back for the 2021 favorites video, but I found a setting spray that I like quite a bit more than this one. Oh, I also included the Colourpop QT Mark Freckle Pen in my 2020 favorites, and I still like this. I actually didn't even see that on the list, but I am wearing it today. I have found other freckle products that I like too. I don't know if I would go out of my way to be like, oh yes, this is a favorite, you have to have it, it's the best freckle product, because I tried a couple other things this year and I think they're great too. So I don't think this will make it to my 2021 favorites list, but if you are looking for a good cheap freckle pen that lasts for freaking ever, because I got this in the summer of 2020 and it's the winter of 2021 and I'm still able to get product out of it, just store it upside down. If you store it upside down, I don't think this freckle pen will ever die, and I do still like it, but it's probably not gonna be a favorite for 2021. Alrighty, that was so many face products, my goodness. Now we can move on to eye products, and the first 2020 favorite that I gave last year was my favorite brow pencil, which used to be the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer. Now this is still a perfectly fine brow pencil, but I have higher standards now. You know, this is a good brow pencil, perfect amount of waxiness and emollientness, emolosity. None of those words are right. You guys know what I mean. Perfect ratio of creamy to waxy, to the point where you can do like little brow hair like strokes, but also you can fill in quickly. The reason this is no longer a favorite is because I finally decided to seek a brow pencil that I didn't run out of every 2 weeks, and this pencil has like no product in it. I was just buying this so often that even though it was cheap, I was like, I feel like I'm not even getting a good deal anymore, because yes, it's a drugstore price, but I'm buying it every 2 weeks. So I finally found some brow pencils that last way longer and work just as well as this one. So yeah, for that reason, the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer is not a 2021 makeup favorite. Oh my goodness, all of the products on my eyes list are no longer favorites. Okay, moving on to my favorite brow gel of 2020. I said it was the e.l.f. Wow Brow Gel. Nope. Haven't bought her this year. Haven't bought her since I ran out of that one. Nothing wrong with the brow gel. It's perfectly fine. It's a good fiber brow gel. That's just not how I do my brows anymore. I no longer like the look of filling in my brows with hair-like strokes and then adding a fiber brow gel to make them look fluffy. Also, the fiber brow gel just used to get really messy. Like, I have little peach fuzz hairs all around my regular eyebrows. I can tweeze and tweeze and tweeze as much as I want, but I don't wax, and I think I would have to wax in order to get rid of all those peach fuzz hairs. And when I was using that fiber brow gel, I would have to go in with a Q-tip afterwards and wipe all around my brows because they would get stuck up here, and then you're wiping with a Q-tip above your brows and it messes up the foundation. So, you know, just less of a user-friendly product for me, and I've just found such a better brow routine that works for me. Every year my brows go through a total transformation. 2018 brows, who is that? 2019 brows, who the heck is that? 2020 brows, she looks okay, but who's that? 2021 brows, loving it. I'm sure I'll make fun of my brows in 2022, but yeah, it's kind of cool to see your eyebrows go through a transformation, but this is no longer the brow gel for me. I no longer love the e.l.f. Wow Brow Gel. Alright, I'm sentimental over my favorite eyeshadow palette of 2020. It's not my favorite eyeshadow palette anymore, but I still love her so much. My 2020 favorite eyeshadow palette was the by Melolops Radioactive palette, and you can see she's so well loved. Look at I hit pan in 2 of these shades this year. It's so hard for me to hit pan in eyeshadows because I like to play in so many different ones all the time. So you know it's a good eyeshadow palette if I hit pan in 2 of them. I don't think I'll be able to call this a 2021 favorite because I just didn't reach for it as much. The reason this is so sentimental for me is because 1, I'm a Sagittarius moon and everything is sentimental for me, but also because this was the first eyeshadow palette that really introduced me to color. I bought this in May or June of last year, and before then I only had like 1 other colorful eyeshadow palette, and it was still like a neutral with a couple pops of color in it. So this was my first like true colorful palette I bought that made me think that I could wear bright colorful eyeshadow looks and made me think that I actually could blend because this is such a good quality formula. But I've found so many other eyeshadow palettes since then that this is not the one I reach for as much anymore, and that's just because it's still incredible. Like, I don't want you to think I'm not criticizing the palette. I mean, I am, but I still love this palette so much. But the reason I don't reach for it as much anymore is because I do find that these colors go on a little deeper on the eyes than they look in the pan, which is sometimes a look I'm okay with, but this year's kind of been the year of like pastels for me. I love these like light washes of color, and these are not light washes of color. They are neons. They are pigmented, they are powerful. Also, this stains a lot, so I just really need to like know what I'm doing the next day, because all of the shades in here for the most part, other than like the greens and the yellows, will stain your eyes because it's a vegan palette. That happens with a lot of vegan formulas. They can tend to stain more because they have to use more pigments because they're not using beetle shells to dye things red. I'm very understanding of it, and I do still reach for this palette a good amount, especially particular shades. Like, I love this teal shade so much, and this is like one of my favorite blacks ever. Still a great palette. I can't believe I've been talking about this for so long. I'm sorry, I don't need to justify myself. I love you so much. We will be friends forever, but you are not my 2021 favorite eyeshadow palette. Why do I feel so bad about this? Oh my gosh. All right, now moving on to my favorite eyeliner of 2020. 2021 is gonna be so hard to choose. I have so much more eyeliner this year than I did last year. If you're new to my channel, hi, hello, welcome. My name is Giovanna. It's a pleasure to meet you today. I love water activated liner. That's my favorite eyeliner formula. And last year I said that my favorite water activated formula was the by Melwap's radioactive water inks. No longer. Okay, this is no longer my favorite water activated liner formula, just because I find that it's not the best for layering. With these water inks, you have 2 layers before it starts to crack. If you go in with a 3rd layer, which they're pigmented, so you shouldn't need to, but you know, things happen, you make mistakes, you gotta go in with another layer, and these ones are definitely more prone to cracking than other water activated liners that I have tried this year. I'm gonna make a whole video comparing all of my water activated liner brands because I have quite a few at this point, so I'm not gonna talk about this for too long in this video, but I just will let you know that this is no longer a formula that I'm reaching for like on the daily with my graphic liner. There are other formulas that I just find to be more user-friendly and that I would definitely recommend to a beginner over these water inks, but they are still really good. I do still love adding them into, you know, different looks. Like on Halloween, I did a really cool glow in the dark look with these because they are UV liners, so they're still so cool. I still love them, but they're definitely no longer my favorite eyeliner formula. All right, now we're moving on to my favorite lip product, and I'm so excited to see that I said my favorite lipstick was the Colourpop Luxe lipstick in the shade Virgo Moon, because this is a beautiful lipstick. Does it have mold on the side? What is that? It's glitter. Thank goodness it's glitter. Oh my gosh, that would have been awful. Yeah, so this is a beautiful lip color. Look at her. I mean, she's just so unique. She's mauve, she's red, she's peachy, she's rosy. Who is she? I don't know. She's a friend of mine. I love this lipstick. Let's put a little on right now. I actually almost wore this shade today, but I went with something slightly peachier. The name of this formula is their Velvet Luxe lipstick. It's so hard to say. The name of this formula is their Velvet Luxe lipstick, and I really love this formula still. I don't know why I haven't bought more. Probably because I haven't made a Colourpop order in a really long time, because I never want to buy more than like one thing at a time from Colourpop. But I do still love the Luxe lipstick Velvet formula. gives a nice blurring effect to the lips, and I still love this shade. Is it gonna be my favorite lipstick this year? I don't know. I'd really have to think. I've tried so many lip products this year, so that one I'm definitely gonna have to think on. But this one, out of all of the products that I've talked about today, was the easiest one to be like, oh, heck yeah, this is definitely still a favorite that I used a lot this year. Okay, and then for my lip gloss, oh, I said my favorite lip gloss was the Pat McGrath Luxe Gloss in the shade Divine Rose. I don't have it anymore. I finished it. That's how much I love it. I guess you could say that one was definitely still a favorite, as I used it until it was totally gone. The Pat McGrath Luxe Gloss formula is still one of my favorite lip gloss formulas of all time. I have a couple other ones from her in here. I got that in a trio last year. I still have the shade Dare to Bear here, and I have another duochrome one somewhere. But I still love this formula. Oh, they still smell so good. Whew, they smell like cream soda. It's such a good scent, and they just feel nice and buttery on the lips. Like, this is a lip gloss that is hydrating at the same time as adding shine, but this is definitely still a favorite. I'm so happy to see it here. Oh my goodness, and what a good note to end this video on. Those were all of my 2020 makeup favorites. I feel like this video was the least cringeworthy for me to react to, as my 2019 and 2018 favorites were like, my standards were so low, you know? My standards were so low, but I did say in my reaction videos last year that I don't judge myself for having low standards with my past makeup choices, because I think the more you learn about makeup, you just learn that you don't have to settle for certain things, like with that L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer Brow Pencil. Even though I loved the formula, I was having to buy it every 2 weeks, and that's an inconvenience for a glamorous lady like myself. And I found brow pencils that are of the same price point that I don't run out of every 2 weeks. So I'm sure next year I'll react to my 2021 makeup favorites and be like, ooh, that was good, but I found something better. And I think that's so great. You know, every day is a winding road, as Sheryl Crow says, and I live by that. And every day on that winding road, I will find a better brow pencil. And I think that's a great spot to wrap this video up. So I thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I post new videos all the time. It's Vlogmas. I'm doing Vlogmas this year. I'm not posting every single day, but I'm posting almost every single day. So definitely, if you have any video requests, leave them down below for me. I'd love to check those out. Also, check out my description box for all of the makeup on my face today, as well as a bunch of Black Lives Matter resources, resources to support the Asian American community, and resources to support the LGBTQ+ community. So please check out those links if you haven't yet. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye!